Item I, presentation, certificates of appreciation presented to Steve Frank and Donnie Peterson for their years of dedication and ongoing roadside cleanup efforts in and around the city of Ironwood. Well, it's Earth Day today, so it's probably a good day today to kind of get out there and make people aware of what they can do to help. I know Steve and Donnie do a lot, especially here in the Nori location, when you see piles of tires and piles of garbage. It's not a whole team doing it. It's one or two people. These guys have worked very, very hard on cleaning it up, and they don't get paid. They do this out of the goodness of their heart, their dedication, just to the love of the area. So we'd like to recognize them for just taking the time and doing what they do. Steve, I think you have like a couple of cool stories and maybe some good stats for us if you want to take a moment and share.
First of all, on behalf of Donnie, thank you. So you wanted some stats?
Sure.
So an official bag, so understand that we actually defined a unit. So an official bag for litter picking there is a 13-gallon plastic pitcher. Okay? So I've been doing this professionally for about 4 years, Donnie for about 3. So last year, it was a long year. I picked up the first bag in February. I think I picked the litter all the way through December. Okay. So last year, Donnie got 204 bags. I got 252 bags. And we each got somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 cigarette butts. You got to kind of keep things interesting, and I get fixated in like completing something. And so last year, I ended up doing Airstream from where it begins right there on Aurora, all the way to the T in Desert. So it's about 7 miles. I got 70 bags on that entire stretch. But once I realized how much of it I'd done, I'm like, hey, let's just make it all the way to Bessemer. Donnie and I also did 2 miles of highway, roughly from the industrial park up to the hospital, and we got 51 bags. And I went back and did part of it again in the fall. This year, so far, Don is at 138 bags and 8,541 cigarette butts. So that's become his thing. He counts them. I'm not quite to that point. I focus on cigarette butts like in the downtown. I'm really strict about that, and like the roads from my house to downtown, so I keep that clean. But Don's really gone all out on cigarette butts. So far this year, I'm at 59 bags and 2 dump sites over in Aurora. And then there's the tires. So Don is at a very respectable 39 tires total, career total, 7 of them from this year. And I'm at 592, 244 so far. And of course, when I talk about tires and bags and all that, that doesn't count all the bigger stuff that's out there. So we found recliners, TVs, both old and new style, flat screen, appliances, pretty much any appliance you think of. Vacuum cleaners seem to be fairly popular. A table saw, not sure how that was over on Brogan Street. Pretty much everything but the kitchen sink. Except I've also found 4 of those. So pretty much everything. Now I want to stress, this is not just an Ironwood problem. This is not just a Gibbick County problem. Start watching YouTube videos, and there's a rabbit hole that go down. I mean, it's really and it's a shame. But that doesn't excuse it for here, and it does allow us to kind of be leaders and to set an example, and hopefully other communities would kind of join in and realize the problem. And so I want to mention a few people here, though. And first of all, I want to mention Jim Albert, good friend. I was back in December of 2020. I had cleaned up a dump site on the Southern Railroad grade, and I got my first 60 tires out of Lake Polinsky. First 60, I'm up to 207. And I was on the phone with him, just kind of blowing off some steam, and I said, I can't clean up the whole town myself. And of course, Jim died 6 weeks later. And then that spring, I was walking along between my house and his building, taking care of the building. And I picked up litter, along the way, and I remembered saying that to him. And I thought, and so that year, that spring, I covered almost the entire city of Ironwood. Every street, to be honest. So, yeah, there's something to do with that. He wasn't supposed to be like to go out a lot. And so, I also want to thank Don. About 3-4 years ago, I posted on the Chronicle. It had nothing to do with litter. And I said, if everybody would do just a little bit extra, we could really change things. And Don's the one that actually took that to heart. And of course, he's gone way beyond a little bit extra. But, I don't know if I would still be doing this if he hadn't joined you. Because you kind of do need the support. It's easy to get discouraged. I want to thank the city crew. They have been absolutely fantastic about picking up on bags and piles whenever they notice them. Steve Leto Jr. has also picked up some of my piles that are out there. Pat Gallinow, who has picked up litter up in Nori, literally for decades. And finally, Melissa Anderson. I do not know her at all, but just recently I said she started a Facebook page called Northwoods Community Cleanup. And she's been going out cleaning just little spots, here and there. So I don't know what's wrong with that, but I noticed it and more people to join in. So where are we now, for the future? We're getting a handle on the tires and the dumping. Okay? And my goal is to get the tires done this year. Dumping, I haven't found any really new big dump sites in a couple of years. So I think, and hopefully it isn't that people just decide to move out of Ironwood and dump out there. Hopefully we have changed that. Don and I think we've also gotten all the old litter, the stuff that's been on the side of the road for years and years, and we can tell that when you become a professional, it's fine. But the litter itself isn't on. And it really is discouraging because when you go and you clean an area and get bags and bags out there, and then you drive by, a couple minutes later, you're like, something else, and you finally stop and you pick it up and you get, more bags. So it is discouraging. What we need to do is we have to change the culture. And we always said at the pool hall that the reason we didn't have graffiti at the pool hall was because we didn't have graffiti at the pool hall. And what that means is the tiniest little bit got cleaned up immediately, taken care of, and somebody, was put on notice that you don't do that. I think it makes it easier when you have litter. It makes it easier for the next person. Just who cares? What does it matter? One more, two more, whatever. I also want to point out, that this is not only can everybody do something about this, even stop littering, one thing, but this is a completely non-political issue. There's no upside to litter. Nobody's arguing taking control of litter. But this is kind of probably one of the few issues that really is, there's no arguing the other side of it. And so along those lines, last year, I created a Facebook group called Wogibic Iron Range Litter Pickers. It's a public group. You don't have to join to see it or anything. It's completely separate from everything else. Right now it's kind of the Steve and Donnie show. That's not how we want it to be. I want people to post on there, even if it's something that it's too much for somebody to do themselves, or they're unable to get out. Post and say, hey, this area is really bad, and maybe somebody else can take care of it. Or if people themselves will go out and pick up some, post it, snap a picture, post it on there. It is not bragging. Okay? It's showing the severity of the problem, which is useful information to have. But more importantly, it shows that the problem is solvable. And I think me and Donnie, we've kind of proven it. So again, from both of us, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I think you covered it. I like the input on the websites where you can go and community cleanup and your litter pickers, and thank you for your dedication and being a person of change, because I hope this is contagious. Like you said, people are going to see this is clean over here and this is happening. Look how hard they're working, and maybe they can do more. And I'm thank you for being the change and just pushing this out there for us to be more and more aware. Just little things like you said. Don't be the person that flicks your cigarettes out the window. Don't be the one that you're done with your fast food out the window. And big recycling things. They take a lot of stuff. Put your stuff in there. Be aware of twice a year we have citywide cleanups. Be aware of when those things are. And metal. Some people will pay money for metal. It's, you got a refrigerator or whatever, you might be able to get a couple dollars for it. So thank you for bringing this awareness to it. It's very much appreciated. I know you work very, very hard and you're always out there. Even the crazy elements, I've seen you out there.
And by the way, neither one of us is expecting, the average person to be hauling tires or climbing down in and needing to get out in the pot can or something like that. But just walk your neighborhood, go for a nice walk. I've heard people say, well, I don't have time. But you don't have 10 minutes to go just walk around the block in your neighborhood. You probably need to make time and do that. Probably be good for you. So.
Yes. Thank you very much, Steve. We do have 2 plaques here. We did take pictures earlier. So I present these to you. We can take it down. Okay. Any other pictures that very nice. All right, thank you for your presentations, folks. I'll take us to